Do you ever just so intensely people watch that suddenly the people you're people watching are making direct eye contact with you and you just want to hide? Is it just a me thing? I guess so. I guess it is. Okay, so anyways, hey guys, it's Diabetic Girl. Welcome back to my channel. I have done, it's been like a 3-part series this week that started on Tuesday with your school survival guide. Then yesterday I did horrific horror stories of fifth teachers, and today I'm going to be doing the amazing teachers I've had. I have a total of 6 stories for you today. Excuse me. So I'm very excited to share those with you. So yeah, I guess let's just get right into the video. So my first amazing teacher I had was when I was in the 4th grade. So this is the year after the first terror story from yesterday. And I did talk about this very briefly in yesterday's video. I had a teacher named Mr. Clark who I actually passed out on the first day of school when I was in his class because my blood sugar was low, and he knew exactly what to do because he'd already read the 504 plan and was ready for basically anything, and it was really wonderful. And so after that had happened, he decided that we were going to do an All About Me bag, which again I mentioned yesterday. And what it was a paper bag, and it had pictures all over it to describe who you were and what you like to do. And so obviously I put on one side of my bag a lot of stuff that had to do with my diabetes. And he used his bag to tell us all about his Crohn's disease. Now, I don't know much about Crohn's disease, but one of my cousins has it. I know he can't have a ton of dairy products because it upsets it. I know that it's like a inflammatory type of thing, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. But since I don't know that much, and since I'm not an expert, I'm just gonna link a medical journal or something down below to let you guys know the symptoms and warning signs of Crohn's disease, just so that if you guys want to check it out, it's there for you. So he obviously, because he understood what it was like to be in that place where you're a little bit different, really tried to make it so that I could be the most comfortable person I could be in his classroom. And as I said yesterday, the year I was in 4th grade was the year I went on an insulin pump. So a lot of the times it was him and I having to learn off of each other because he needed to know about the pump and I wanted to know about how to, not feel so different when you were living differently. And he was such an inspiration in my life, and he really, really, started me on this journey that I'm on now. Because when I was in the 3rd grade, in case you guys don't remember, I was really shy about my diabetes, and the year I was in 4th grade, I felt a lot more open about it. He was so good about making sure I had everything I needed, and was just everything that I could have wanted the year after I had such a terrible year. He knew how to treat my low blood sugars. He knew what to do when I had a high blood sugar. He was just very on top of it, and it was very comforting to me. So that was always absolutely wonderful, and just what I needed most of the time. So the next really, really good teacher I had was in the 7th grade. And this wasn't because she was good with my diabetes. I mean, she was, kind of. But it was it was actually a teacher and a teacher aide pairing because they were both so wonderful. And 7th grade was the year I went on an Animus pump. And so I had Miss G, or Miss Gerard, and Miss Pettigrew. And they were both so good separately, but then a team, they were amazing, all right? So basically, Miss G didn't know a lot about diabetes. It was her first year at this school that I went to. This was the charter school. So a lot of the times it was her learning from me when stuff happened, and I was totally okay with that. That was the year that I went on an Animus pump, and Miss G always encouraged me to do the best. I wanted to do a big fundraiser for camp, and she totally stood behind me and helped me get it done. I got the whole school involved, and it was really cool. She always just wanted all of us to be the best that we could be, and she always pushed me to reach my full potential no matter what. When I went on the new pump, her teacher aide had come to the pump training and literally learned everything, took notes, and then filled Miss G in and helped me fill her in. And the two of them were just such a good team, and they honestly always just wanted the best for me. They knew when my pump went off. It was ridiculous. They were so good. Even though Miss G, didn't know much, she knew enough to get by and to, make sure I still had a great school year. And she was so wonderful. And, I'm friends with her on Facebook now. And when I posted the big announcement to let my friends and family know about the University of Art, she was like one of the first people to comment and be like, I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it. And I was like, oh, I love you. Oh my God. So honestly, these people have made like such a difference in my life. I haven't seen Miss Pettigrew since I left Marblehead Charter. And I'm kind of upset because she was a wonderful woman. But hey, things happen for a reason. But they were such a wonderful team. And it made me so, so happy. And it was just, yes, it was so wonderful. Ugh. Yes. Okay, sorry. So then the next teacher I had, now this is where it gets a little confusing because when I was in high school, I had 2 band directors, and the one that I had that had been there for like 35 years, when I first got to high school, I had my freshman and sophomore year. And he was absolutely wonderful, okay? He was very experienced. He knew when I needed to just stop and, like, take a break. And he knew when, he knew how to push me and to get me to get stuff done. Because for those of you who didn't know, I didn't start playing my flute and clarinet until I was in high school. So he really knew how to push me and to get me to do what I needed to do. And he also was so good about making sure I was okay, whether it was on the field during halftime or in class. Mr. Novak was like one of the best teachers I have ever had. But then to counteract my junior and senior year of high school, I had Mr. Costa, which I know you guys have seen in so many studio sessions because we just keep bringing him back because he's wonderful. And I've mentioned him in vlogs. He was just always so on top of it and always wanted to learn more. Like, you could never get him to stop learning, and it was wonderful. Mr. Costa let me keep, like, glucose tabs in his desk drawer for marching band so I didn't have to bring them. He let me keep snacks in there so I didn't have to bring them. He was very on top of what he was doing and always made sure that, like, I was safe no matter what we were doing. I always had something to treat a low blood sugar. He was always so on top of it and so wonderful with it. And it was just such a relief, and I was so happy. You know, I started wearing the CGM so that I could stop leaving band so often, and we really always just made it work, and I am so thankful I had him for 2 years. I'm so thankful I had Mr. Novak. Both of them were so beyond wonderful, and they just honestly wanted the best for me. I think one of the perfect scenarios of when Mr. Costa was all Mr. Costa is and more was when my pump actually broke down at a fucking marching band practice. The first marching band practice of the school year, the first game of the year. My pump site keeps falling out. My pump is breaking. I'm in hysterics. I can't even handle myself. And he's like, just take a deep breath. Just join us when you can. You got this. And I was like, thank you. He really honestly was so wonderful. And like, yes, I always had a doctor's note if something happened, or a note from my parents if my pump broke. But he always was just so wonderful and so supportive and just always wanted the best for me and every other student he had. So that was just absolutely insanely wonderful, and to this day, I'm still very thankful for him. Obviously, I have mentioned him in several videos past, because he just knows what he's doing, and he just wants the best for everyone. Yeah! And then my sophomore and senior year of high school, I had this science teacher who was on the first episode of Studio Sessions, which is literally almost 2 years old, and that doesn't even feel real to me. What are you talking about? What do you mean Studio Sessions is 2 years old? What? So this teacher was on the very first episode. Her mom actually had diabetes and wore a pump like I did, so it made things very easy for me in class because she just got it, and she knew how to handle me, she knew how to help me, and it was absolutely wonderful. So that teacher's name is Miss Shulk, and she was beyond wonderful. Alright, she was that teacher that would, like, stay at school until, like, 8 o'clock at night with the student if the student needed help. She would just do it, literally. I'm friends with her kids. So I used to, like, be at her house all the time just because I was, like, with her kids. And, you know, I got to know her, and she's a wonderful person. She always wanted the best for every single student, no matter what. Would always be so fair with grading and would always just be, like, so absolutely wonderful trying to help us understand the test or understand what we were learning. Would always just really go above and beyond just so that we could all be, like, the best we could be at whatever she was teaching us that week. And, of course, you know, her and I had a bond because she totally understood what I needed to do. I understood what she needed to do. We never got in each other's way with it. And she would, like, you know, if we had, like, downtime in class, she would come over and talk to me and, like, ask me how everything was going, you know, how all of my blood sugars were looking, if I was doing okay, you know. I looked off last class, so she just wanted to make sure I was, you know, doing good and I was feeling good. It was just honestly so wonderful about everything and just always wanted the very best for me. And you know, everybody should have a teacher like Miss Schalk. Everyone should have a teacher like Mr. Novak. Everyone should just have a teacher like every teacher I'm talking about in this video. Because these teachers made such a marking in my life. You know, that the fact that some of them I had when I was in the 4th grade and I'm now going into college and I can still tell you exactly what happened. Like, these teachers played such a big deal in my life. And I hope that all of you guys have a teacher like the ones I'm telling you about today. So the next teacher I want to talk about was my sophomore year of high school. She was my geometry teacher. And for those of you who have followed the channel since it started my sophomore year of high school, then there may possibly be some glimpses of this teacher in really old videos. I think there might be one in like an old Friday. Remember how we used to do like a Friday vlog day? And I would vlog about, like, everything that happened during the week, and I would have, like, clips from the week. Well, this was one. I know there's something about her in one of these Friday vlogs. So this teacher, Miss McDonald, was absolutely phenomenal. She not only wanted to get the point across and teach all of her students everything and make sure we were all the very best we could be, but she wanted to have fun with it. Now, okay, when we first... So I was in class with Luther, who used to sit behind me. We used to make fun of this teacher for, like, the first, 2 months of school. Because she was just weird. Like, we'd walk in every day for class. She'd be like, all right, who's ready for class? Math is fun! And we'd be like... Or, like, you know how sometimes when a teacher's lecturing, you'll be like... She'd be like, don't make that face at me! And she'd, like, call you out for it. And you'd be like, oh my god, Miss McDonald, please calm down. But once you got past the weirdness and you really got to know her, you realized she just wanted the best for every single student she taught. And I do mean every single student. She would literally... She was just like Miss Schalk. She would stay after for as long as she had to until you got exactly what you needed done. And if it wasn't her day to stay and you asked her, she totally stayed. She did not care. She wanted the best for every student she had. And it was... I mean, amazing. Like, seriously, amazing. And so, when I had her, she used to be, like, really on top of making sure I always had supplies, because we always kept, like, reaction kits in the classroom so that I wouldn't have to always leave. She always had supplies. She always made sure she was on top of it. She was just wonderful. And, like, she knew how to get you to do your work. And she knew how to bring out the best in every student. And I don't know how she did it, because most of her classes had like 30 kids. And she knew how to bring out the best in absolutely everyone. And it was so amazing to watch. Like, I have never been good at math. I failed her final exam. And she called me. She didn't even call my parents. She called me and she's like, hey, your exam didn't look that good. Like, can you come in and work with me for the next couple of days and we'll try to fix it? And I was like, yep. So I let my mom know what was going on, and I went back to the classroom for about a week, worked about 3 to 4 hours a day for the week after school ended, and was able to get everything done and managed to pass with an A- for the year. She just really wanted the best for everyone, and, you know, everyone should have a teacher like that. I mean, she was so wonderful. And so the fact that she was always prepared if something was wrong with me, like, she would always, so I sat in the front row right near her desk so I could literally just sneak over and, like, take whatever I needed. She never questioned me. She always just took care of me. And that was always so wonderful, and she was so good about it, and was just so just A-okay with everything. Never asked a question. You know, she would ask questions if she was confused about what was going on, and I had no problem explaining them to her. Just was so open and so wonderful about it, and it made me really happy, obviously, because then I felt supported, and I felt good about it, so that was always absolutely wonderful. Then the final teacher I want to talk about, I had mentioned, I think, in my school survival guide, which was Mr. Gruber, and for those of you who don't know, I had Mr. Gruber my senior year for physics, and I am terrible with science, too. Like, it's terrible. I am so bad at math and science, but, like, I'm really good with English, creative writing, reading, really artsy stuff. So, he always knew exactly what was going on. It was so weird. Like, he always knew when I was going low. He knew when I was, like, high. He just knew because I was off. Now, for those of you who, like, don't spend every day with me, I am basically a very sarcastic asshole, okay? Like, I'm just an asshole in general. Like, yeah, sure, I'm totally nice, but, like, 98% of the time, I'm a fucking asshole, okay? And I would always just give him shit just to be funny, and he would always just put up with it. But he would always know when I was going low or when I was going high, so we, like, had that kind of relationship just because he knew. And he could tell me, he'd be like, yeah, you're low right now. I'm like, don't lie to me. And then I'd check and be like, oh, alright, fine, I see how it is. But he was always so on top of it too, and would always make sure that he would try to accommodate me so that I could obviously be the best student that I could be. And he was just so wonderful, and, like, didn't make as much of an impact as everyone else because I didn't have him as long as I had everyone else. But, you know, everyone else is still very much in my life. I still talk to them. It's really quite wonderful, and I love everyone for what they've done for me. And I am so lucky to have had so many wonderful teachers, and I am just beyond blessed. So for those of you who are in school right now, I hope you have a teacher like this. If not, comment down below. We can always start a diabetes advocacy vlog where I talk about how to handle stuff like this. Let me know what you guys want to hear more of down below, and I will talk to you later. Thank you all so much for your love and support. And yeah, also this weekend might be spotty with vlogs because it's Valentine's Day weekend and I work as a florist, so might be a little spotty, but I will talk to you guys later. Bye!